people, and bearing in mind the entire Yukon has probably fewer than 48,000 all in, over.
Okay, very good. I didn't realize that. Well, it's a lot less populated than down here, and this is getting to be quite populated. We're down in a little town called Green Valley. Like I said, it's about 30 miles south of Tucson, off the interstate down in Nogales, Arizona, and Nogales, Sonora. And it's a big retirement area. A lot of places around have CCNRs, which restrict ham operators. They won't allow antennas or towers, of course. But I live in a place here that we're on an acre, a little bit over an acre of land, and there are no CCNRs, and so I felt free to build, have the tower and antenna put up. And so far, nobody has complained. I don't think anyone could complain because, like I said, there's no laws against it here. But there are some CCNRs that are actually funny to listen to the stories. People get letters for leaving their garage doors open or not having the correct tint on their windows, or just little piddly things like that. But yet some people want to make a big deal out of it. Unbelievable. Anyway, that's not here at this place. And it's nice to not have that. We came down here from Nevada. We were just south of Reno, a little town called Gardnerville, which is just right abeam South Lake Tahoe. Oh, we came down here in '06, I guess. We'd lived in Nevada for 30-plus years. We didn't get the snow where we lived, but we certainly had the cold weather, and we had a lot of wind. Do you guys have a lot of wind up there? Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, Norm. Whiskey 5, Uniform Juliet, VY1CO returning. Yeah, especially where we're at. We're sort of in the middle of a valley, but we're on kind of top of a small mountain within the valley, and the winds come right up to the south. As I describe them, the aspen trees here have a permanent question mark bend to them as the prevailing winds kind of go up the slopes here. In fact, we just went through a windstorm here a couple days ago. It was getting up to 70 mile per hour winds, so it's pretty breezy. It'd be a great place for a windmill if you felt like having one.
Yeah, I can understand that. There are windmills over in California that they're by, I guess, Palm Springs, and when we drive over to that area, hopefully not as often. Anyway, you see some of them with their blades missing. They do get fairly high, not as high as your 70 miles an hour gusts. Anyway, my antenna tower is rated for about 85 miles an hour at the full up position. So that would be iffy putting it up there too, where you are. How do you keep that antenna up? Go ahead.
Well, thankfully, it's that's more the exception. I mean, that was a fairly major weather event that was passing through here. The typical winds are probably closer to about 25 to 30, but they're just sort of more of a prevailing wind. The hex beam is actually really good in the sense that it sheds the wind quite well. So the wind loading is not that bad, and the design of the antenna is it kind of distributes it out a little bit more evenly because it's as you know, it's hexagonal or more or less circular in size or in shape. It does a pretty good job of shedding the wind as opposed to something that has a large boom and several elements on it. Over.
Yeah, I can understand that. I still don't quite understand the theory behind the hex beam. It's rotatable, and you can aim it in certain directions, I understand. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's basically just a two-element beam. It's just a two-element beam, and so you have a driven element, and then just a reflector. So it's Very similar principle to the Moxon antenna, where you have a driven element and then it folds back on itself, and then you have a bit of spacing, and then you have a reflector that makes the other part and kind of makes a square shape. Well, they've just designed this very similar, but it's in a hexagonal shape. So your driven element comes out in a V and then folds back to the left and right on each side, and then you have your reflector going around the back of it. Over.
Okay, very good. That makes sense, a lot of sense. Well, I tell you what, your antenna's doing a tremendous job. You're peaking at about 20 over 9 down here. Very solid signal. Anyway, Scott, I think I'll pass on my 73s to you. This has been most enjoyable. I really have enjoyed speaking with you, and from Whitehorse, and now I know there are people that live down there. We have flown over it. I've flown over it many, many times, both during the day and night, and I have noticed when we did it at night, there were a lot of lights down there, or at least you could see the area there. And it was always a good landmark using GPS, though, now. I used to have beacons, so I guess you still do have a radio beacon there. I don't know if there's a VOR there or not, but it did have a beacon, and that's where we would fly over when we were flying up there to Anchorage and back. Anyway, Scott, listen, you take care of yourself. Stay safe, please. And Merry Christmas to you. It's been wonderful speaking with you. And Merry Christmas to you and your family, and Happy New Year. Thanks for the chat. Victor Yankee 1, Charlie Oscar, Whiskey 5, Uniform Juliet.
Okay, Norm. Well, certainly all the very best of the season to you as well. It's hard to believe we're getting that close to it, but it'll be here before we know it. So, yes, all the very best. Good health in the new year, and look forward to perhaps hearing you again on 20 here or some other band. 7-3, Whiskey 5, Uniform Juliet, VY1CO. Take care.
Take care, Scott. 73.
Victor Echo 7, Japan Echo Radio, I think. Did I get the call right? Okay, very good, Jim. VE7, Juliet Echo Romeo, Victor Yankee 1, Charlie Oscar returning. No, thanks for the shout, Jim. Yeah, and fine on the snow down the trail. Well, you probably have more than what we do. It's been a crazy winter. I don't know what your winter's been like, but it's been exceptionally mild up here. It's just sitting right at the 0 mark Celsius at the moment, and no indication it's going to vary that much over the next several days here. So, I'm not complaining about the fact that it's not cold, but it's just not a good indication. Yeah, it's not good. And it'd be nice to get a little more snowpack in the hills as well. It gets pretty dry here as it is, so if we don't get much snow, it makes for a very, very dry spring and summer, and all the headaches that brings. And back to you there, Jim. V7JER, VY1CO. Yeah, I've got a TS-820 sitting here and a TS-830, and then I've got a newer TS-590 Sierra Golf, and then I've got some Elecraft gear as well, over. I'm on the 830 at the moment. Okay, very good, Jim. No, that 5 element's working well for you. I think the last time we spoke, I had my hex beam up on the roof here because I hadn't had an opportunity to get the tower sorted out. But hex beam's at 60 feet now and is behaving as I would expect it, and quite pleased with it. And you're right, the 820 has fantastic audio, and in fact, I mean, I have a hard time telling the difference between the 830 and the 820, but I've heard those that are very much into those radios that say the 820 actually just edges out the 830 a bit in terms of audio quality, but suffice to say they both sound good, and yeah, no, we're not into the layers and layers of of audio gear and processing and enhancing and all that kind of stuff. In fact, even our microphone here is kind of homebrew. I do have an MC50 sitting up on the shelf, but just didn't particularly like the design, and I wanted something I could put in a boom. So I had an old electret microphone housing, and I ripped all the electronics out of it and the condenser mic, and I found an old mic element in my junk box drawer, and luckily it was a high impedance microphone cartridge, and epoxied that in there and put a foam windscreen over it, and that's what I'm using now, over. Yeah, you bet. We're running about a kilowatt here right now at the moment, Jim. About a kilowatt, and yeah, no, I did get that email. Thank you. It's the larger challenges were more about just getting it up into the Yukon here, as opposed to the price. Buying it would be the easy part, hi. And I think there was another station in there that made a comment. Is there another station wanting to break in, the VY1CO? Okay, very good, Mike. Thanks for that. Yeah, you're about 5 dB over here as well. Are you copying Jim? Okay, well, no problem. Thanks for the report, and all the best to you folks in Vernon, my old place of birth, but my old stomping grounds. All right, Jim, I'm going to go grab a coffee here, so thanks for the shout again. I hope you don't get too much use out of that snowblower, and in some areas we don't have any snow on the ground, just to give you an idea how little we have up here, so been a crazy beginning to winter. Of course, having said that, now watch, there'll be 5 feet of snow next week, and it'll be down to minus 30. VE7JER VY1CO. Yeah, you bet, Jim. All the best, and thanks for the shout again. And yeah, no, we took the day off today just to put around the house and get a few things done and play radio. Sometimes it's nice to do that during the week when it's a little quieter. All the best. And again, nice hearing you. V7JER VY1CO. Copy that. Thanks, V7 Alpha Mike. The same to you. And Fern, how you doing? Yeah, okay, very good, Fern. Well, you're just a needle width over the S9 mark, so sounding really good here at the moment. Well, believe it or not, it is exactly at this moment 0 degrees Celsius. 0 degrees Celsius, and yesterday it got up to 7. Oh yeah, no, and of course back east it's just been it's been a typical back east winter. It's just been a disaster.